88.5 JFM, the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this morning. I love getting your day started off on the right foot. And to help me with that, I use an inspiring quote. Today, it's from Plato, who said, "Courage is knowing what not to fear." I love that. Sometimes we think that courage is being bold in the face of fear. Well, no, not necessarily, because you see, this particular quote is tied to identity. Knowing what not to fear. Now, I want to bring your attention to at least one verse in the Bible. Now, this is from 2 Timothy, okay? And it says this, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." That brings me some comfort and some peace. Now, why is it that we can have confidence, we can have courage in the middle of our circumstances, no matter what's coming our way? Well, simply because of Christ. Remember this verse from John 14:1. "Don't let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me." He doesn't want us to be fearful. He doesn't want our hearts to be troubled. He wants us to be confident in who we are and in who He is, that He can see us through any circumstance, any situation. And hey, I don't know about you, but that gives me some hope that, hey, it's all going to be okay. So, if you've been longing to hear that for the longest time now, let me be the person to tell you, it's all going to be okay. Just rely on God. He will get you through. It may not be the way that you expect Him to do it, but He promises He'll always be with us. So you can believe He's going to get you through whatever situation you're going through right now. And hey, what I just did for you, why don't you do that for somebody else? Give them some encouragement, some inspiration to help them make it through their day too. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. More great music for you now. Stick around. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. I absolutely love this. I was perusing Instagram last night and I came across Brandy Rain's post, and she's got a picture of her dog. And he looks quite happy, a little intent, like he might be focused on something too. You know how our dogs do when we have something to eat and they want a piece of it, right? The caption says, "When you've already paid the cheese tax, but the tax man wants a bacon, egg, and fruit tax. #inflation." Yes, these pets, they always want to nibble on just a little morsel, just a little taste of what we have. They say, "Hey, come on, share." Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm glad we can celebrate those four-legged furry family members. We all have those people in our lives that no matter what's going on with us, no matter how shaky our life can be, these people are constants. They're rock solid. They're always there. And let's be honest, sometimes we take them for granted. But I've got a story for you about one of those people and a little reminder coming up shortly, so stick around. Now, this is something you'd usually see in an old black and white TV show, okay? The whole concept of a milkman dropping off jugs of farm fresh milk and cream on the doorstep. Well, it seems a little old-fashioned, right? But it's still something that happens in villages and small towns around the world. One such village is the centuries-old cathedral city of St. Albans, about 20 miles northwest of London, England. And for the past 47 years, Michael Tutton has filled that role, but he's also meant much more to the residents. Each day, Mick the Milk was up before dawn to load his milk float. Then he'd visit with residents as he made his rounds. While he delivered milk, eggs, and other necessary items, he also dispensed wisdom, laughter, and kindness. No family milestone went unnoticed by the attentive milkman. If someone had a birthday, he left a small piece of candy or another treasure on their stoop. He loved doing charity runs and other events, raising thousands of dollars over the years that went right back into the community that he served. Even the local dogs love Mick. You see, in 2023, just a little earlier this year, Mick's long tenure as unofficial guardian and grandfather to St. Albans came to an end. His milk float was damaged beyond repair, and he decided it was time to retire. Naturally, his beloved residents couldn't let him go without a proper send-off. So without telling him, they started a GoFundMe and planned a big party. Mick couldn't believe it when more than 200 people showed up to present him with a check for over £15,000. That's almost 20 grand. The local community captured our love for Mick as one of the family. All of us were so proud to reflect the one-man cradle-to-the-grave care that Mick has given us over 47 years. That's from Kate Crick, who organized the party. Mick's wife, Jane, and daughter, Lorna, and granddaughter, Florence, were able to attend the party, and a good time was had by all. Mick was moved by the support of his community and sad to bid farewell to a job that's meant much more to him than income. It was amazing. A joy, he said. They told me it would be a few people, but then suggested a few more, and I was quite overwhelmed by how many actually turned up. It was very emotional. I'm definitely going to keep in touch with everybody I can. My heart is there, but if I go for all the cups of teas that I've been invited to, I'll never see home again. We're certain that's true. It's clear that this milkman made a huge impact on the world around him, simply by being kind, caring, and considerate of others. Congratulations on nearly 50 years on the job to Mick the milkman. Oh, you know, it's people like that who are real pillars in our community. And sometimes we take them for granted. So why don't you share a little extra love with that pillar in your community, the one you look up to most? Give them an extra pat on the back. Tell them how much they mean to you. It'll mean a lot. Let's say you had a business role in your family. What position would you have? Are you the CEO, the CFO, the CMO? What C are you? I've got a story for you coming up. It's going to make you chuckle just a little bit. One dad says he is the assistant manager of his family. And he's got a pretty cool explanation as to why that is. Stick around. We'll have some fun with it. So have you given it some thought? What position would you hold if your family were a business? Would you be the manager, the assistant manager? Would you be the shift leader? Would you just be happy to be there? Or do you say, no, I'm the boss. I run this thing. I feel you. But hey, I came across this guy. His name is Gabe Rutledge, and he has an explanation as to how he feels he fulfills his role in his family. And I love it. I want to share it with you. It'll probably make you chuckle. So here, take a listen.
I don't really know what I'm doing with my children or my wife. That's why I am the assistant manager of my family. Yeah, my wife is the manager. We work as a team. That's what the assistant manager does. Even if I don't have the same understanding or enthusiasm for our policies, I work as a team. Sometimes I have to be like, look, kids, it doesn't really bother me either if you don't replace the toilet paper roll. But this is coming from corporate. My hands are tied, honestly. I agree with you. We should pile a bunch of them on the back of the toilet. I suggested that at the meeting. That was shot down. It's very important to your mother that if we're out of toilet paper, we have to do a 6-foot crouch walk over to that cupboard. We need my wife to be in charge. She is so good at running our family. I am not.
Why, it's a man. A man made out of tin. Yes. Did you say something? He said oil can.
Oil can what?
Oil can? Here it is.
Hope that brought you some fond childhood memories of watching that movie for the first time. It's The Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man, the oil can. And hey, I've got a story about how your brain might be asking for an oil can right about now. I'll tell you what the oil is. It's a new scientific discovery that's pretty cool. So stick around. I'm going to tell you all about it after Carrollton and Let Love Win. What happens if you don't keep oil, fresh oil in your engine? Well, everything dries up and yeah, your motor is gone, right? You've got to keep it oiled. You got to get that oil changed. Well, you know, our brains are kind of the same when it comes to this particular oil. It's a new scientific study that just came out and a startling discovery as to what the oil that lubricates your brain actually is. And here, I want to share it with you. I found this over on the socials and I thought it was so good. See what you think.
Scientists now describe gratitude as the lubricant of the brain. When you're grateful, your mind actually becomes more agile. Your mind becomes more flexible. Your mind becomes more adaptive. If I could say it this way, when you're grateful, you just become smarter. And smarter people have more capacity, more potential, more opportunity, and more success.
Gratefulness is the oil for your brain. It helps you be smarter. How cool is that? Hey, the Bible's been telling us for forever that we need to be generous. We need to be grateful. We need to do good for others. We need to find the good in life. And it was right the whole time. It's good for your health to be grateful. So find things to be positive about, the things to be thankful for in your life today, and really let it show. Be vocal about it. If it's somebody that you're grateful for, let them know. It'll mean the world to them, and it'll help you out at the same time. Pretty cool how that works, huh? Here's Jordan Feliz.
The answer to every problem is always a nap, Sometimes it's just like, I don't think this will be handled right now, so if you don't mind passing me the blanket,
We watched this movie the other night on Prime Video, and it's kind of out there. Now, let me just tell you, I'm a sci-fi nerd. I love stuff that's out there. So this movie was right up my alley. The name of it is The Portable Door. And the whole crux of this movie, the main point is this person is gaining access to everybody through the fine print. It's the fine print project. Everybody agrees to it without actually reading it. Oh, you know what? That could really happen. Because how many times have you seen the fine print? You have the agree to the terms and conditions on that website. And you've got to hit I agree to go on through it, to purchase that thing, or to get to the next stage, the next page. And so many times we just click that thing. We don't read any of the fine print. Weird, right? But I guess ain't nobody got time for that until you get in trouble because of that. So, moral of the story, pay attention to what you're putting your signature on, because you never know when it might come back to bite you. I'm just saying. Live and learn, right? Your word of life today from 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. In the New Living Translation of the Bible, it says, "Then if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and restore their land." What a promise. Hey, how has that promise affected your life? Tell somebody. That's your testimony. It has great power. And hey, you could use this word of life to start that conversation. We've got it ready for you across all of our socials. That's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And it's always at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. Big shout out to those people listening to us on the stream. I see you listening in Helsinki, Finland. Melissa down in Woodville, Texas. We got some people right here in Gunnersville, Alabama. We've got Wichita, Kansas on, and Chicago, Illinois. Thank you so much. Whether you're listening to us on the stream or the radio, I just want to make sure you understand. We're thankful for you. You're a part of our story of almost 28 years of reaching this world with some really good news. Coming up shortly, going to have your kid cuisine for the day. Plus, going to give you a little review on this new Barbie movie. Should you take your kids to see it? Stick around. We'll get into all that coming up shortly. First, here's Mercy Me with To Not Worship You. It's 8 o'clock. You know what that means. It's time for some kid cuisine. Our kids, they're bored. They're hungry over the summer break. And when they get in that kitchen, they decide, I like this, I like that. Let's mash them up together. Let's see what it turns out to be. And sometimes these concoctions, well, they can be good, or they can turn into culinary crimes. I'm so happy to see them get creative in the kitchen, though. And like I said, sometimes they really pull it off. It turns out to be something good. Well, this time on This Kid Cuisine, it's going to be a little different. We're not bringing you some kind of crazy mashup. Instead, we're telling you as parents how you can get involved with all the madness in the kitchen. A little project for you and your little one. It involves hot dogs, because hot dogs are just ready to go, right? They're already fully cooked. But hey, if you want to have a little fun, you need to check out the video I just posted on this thread. It's at the top of our page on Facebook. It's in the comments, but I'll explain what you're going to see. Yeah, okay, so these hot dogs, well, some people like to boil them. I used to just get them out of the fridge and eat them like that. You could say raw, but they're fully cooked. Anyway, so you get creative with it, right? Maybe you stick some spaghetti noodles into the top of this hot dog to make it look like hair. And then you boil the hot dog in the water with the pasta, and it turns out to be nice blonde hair for that hot dog. And then you give it some eyeballs, cut it a little slit for a mouth. You can make some arms and legs. And then when you put it in the bun, use vegetables or cheese. You could give it a dress. You could make a mermaid tail. You could use some celery and some cabbage to make all of the pretty, colorful clothing. And then you let it swim around a little bit. I saw one as a mermaid. It was pretty cool. So go on over, check this out. Have some fun with your kids in the kitchen before they have to go back to school. Oh, it's coming up way too soon, isn't it? But hey, we want to know, what is your favorite kid cuisine? Your favorite concoction your kid has gotten in there and made. Maybe it's crazy, maybe it's awful, or maybe it's really good. Comment. Again, that's at the top of our Facebook page, 88.5_JFM. And right there, pinned to the top, you're going to find Kid Cuisine. Comment there and you can see all of the different recipes we brought you throughout the summer. It's a summer-long project. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Now, we're going to stay kid-centric for another break and talk with you about whether or not you should take your daughter to see the Barbie movie that's in theaters right now. You need to hear this before you make the decision, okay? First, here's for King and Country. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. For the Father from above, well, he's looking down with love. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Yeah, kid's song, right? It's all about telling us we got to be careful about what we let into our lives. And lots of times we do that in front of a movie screen. And I'm sad to say that there's some really terrible stuff out there, right? I mean, you know that already. But when it's geared toward kids, that's when it becomes a problem. I've got to tell you about this because I've got a daughter who's 8 years old. Now, she loves Barbies. She loves playing with them. She's got a dollhouse, right? But am I going to take her to go see the Barbie movie? I absolutely am not. Why? Well, here. Came across this over on CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network. They did a little interview with the guy. He's a film critic, right? And he saw the movie. He had to wait before he could put out any kind of review. They have embargoes in Hollywood, things like that, the way they do things. But he was finally able to speak his piece. Now, this guy founded Movie Guide. It's his organization, right? He put this out there. He's telling everybody, don't take your daughter to see this new movie. Why? Here's a little bit of that interview.
So Dr. Bear, a lot of people out there, they might be wondering about this Barbie movie. They're seeing the advertisements, the trailer, and they're thinking, should I take my daughter to see this movie? You have an article over at Movie Guide. It's titled, Warning, Don't Take Your Daughter to Barbie. And so what was it that led to that determination?
Well, frankly, we saw the movie on Sunday night, and the movie is worse than you could possibly expect. It's hardcore propaganda. Barbie just is terrible. The first few minutes, it's got a bunch of little girls playing with little baby dolls. Now, I've got 17 grandchildren, and the most of them are little girls, and they love playing with baby dolls. And the girls take the baby dolls and bash them and slap them and say, we don't have to be mothers anymore. In Barbie land, men are the problem with all of society. So they've banished men so they have a better life. In fact, Ken is the villain in the movie, and Barbie has to leave because she's not adapting to, this hate of the patriarchal society, although she hates Ken. So men are the villain, and trans, there are a couple of trans people playing characters, Barbies. So, men play better Barbies than women play Barbies, by the way. So you should tell your little girls that if you want to be Barbie, you want to be a swimmer, you want to be anything else in society, men can be women better. That's what the movie's saying.
Does it make you feel sick too? Like it does me? Yeah. Yeah. See, these things that they're geared toward our kids, they use A-list celebrities and they bring stuff to our kids that just undermines our faith. So please be cautious with this movie. I'm just saying. Anyway, I had to share that with you. I felt like I needed to. We got to give our kids a firm foundation, right? Here's Cody Carnes to sing about that firm foundation. right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Glad we can talk about the serious stuff. You know those point of sale machines that show up at your favorite restaurant, maybe your favorite coffee shop? Yeah, it's like they put in what you're supposed to pay, then they flip the screen around to you and you're supposed to finish the rest. And it always comes with a tip, and it gives you options, custom options. And do you ever feel obligated to give a tip, even though maybe you're just getting something to go? You haven't really had an interaction with a waitress or a waiter. I know, weird, right? Let's talk about that coming up next. Technology has come a long way, hasn't it? And the pandemic kind of spurred it on. It kind of sped things up a little bit, especially when it comes to purchasing things in stores. Lots of times now, you've got a touch-free option. You can use your phone. I actually have Apple Pay on my iPhone, right? I've just set my debit card up through that, and it comes in handy, especially at the gas pump, right? But when you go into a store, you don't want to touch that kiosk. Well, you do the hands-free thing, except sometimes these POS systems, that's point of sale, by the way, well, they're not so hands-free after all, because when you get done and the waiter or the waitress or the person at the counter puts in what you owe, they flip it around to you and you can scan your card, you can insert it, but then you have to touch the screen. Why? Well, because there's an option on there for a tip. Would you like to give, I don't know, maybe 15%, 20%, maybe a 25% tip? It's one of those obligatory questions on the screen. Though you haven't even had an opportunity to see what the service is like there, it feels like if you're a good person, then you've got to give a tip. But how is that? I don't quite understand it myself. I mean, I understand it's a great way for them to make more money, but at the same time, a tip is usually given for good service, right? Now, I don't know, maybe you've noticed this at the restaurant, maybe even your coffee shop, but did you know that your barista at that coffee shop really thinking about the same thing you are? When it comes to that tip, it's an added point of pressure that they don't really like sometimes. Now, don't get me wrong. They're all about making a tip, but at the same time, they don't want you to feel pressured into doing it. So, if you're feeling pressured, let me just give you this piece of advice. There's this Bible verse talks about how God loves a cheerful giver. You know, that translates into our everyday life as well. If you give grudgingly, well, it's not really done in the right spirit, is it? So, kind of check yourself when it comes to stuff like that. If it's not bringing you joy to bless somebody else with that extra money, or you feel that they don't deserve it, then you know what? That is your money to do with what you choose. You shouldn't feel pressured into doing one thing or another. And I know that these waiters and waitresses and these baristas, they feel the same way most times. So just a little word of caution for you. Don't feel like you have to do it just because the option's on the screen, okay?
Donuts.
Hey, Homer, slow down. You're gonna choke or something.
Don't tell me how to eat donuts.
I think you should have slowed down. How about you? Hey, you know what? We're about to talk about donuts, but I got to say something. So it's been 6 weeks now that my friend has been here with me. Braden Williams, our intern from Shorter University. It's been an amazing 6 weeks, and he's been bringing all kinds of stories to the table. He's been learning the ins and outs of Christian radio. Braden, have you had a fun ride?
Oh, yeah.
Good. I'm so glad you've been here with me. It's been a lot of fun watching you write some of these stories, especially the food stories, man. You've done what? We've done some barbecue. We've done some cheeseburgers. What other stuff have we done? All kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, hot dogs.
And
meat and three.
Meat and three. Yeah, I've learned a lot about what Braden likes and does not like to eat as well. So he's a pretty picky eater, aren't you, Braden? But hey, he wrote this thing about the top 10 donuts, and he always tries to get creative with these. So we're going to go through it. I'm going to read it, and let's have some fun with this. Okay. He says, so it's been fun writing about food, and the last food to write about is one that is something that's pretty delicious, and that is donuts. So now it's time to start with number 10. So if you're feeling bonita, which is Spanish for beautiful, then Monita's Bakery at Gardendale is for you. At number 9, you might want to take someone named Abe to Babe's Donuts and Coffee in Tuscaloosa. At number 8, you might like it if you eat honey buns because it's Honey Bun Donuts and Kolaches in Spanish Fort. Yeah, it's down South Alabama. At number 7, we have something that will have you in wow at Wow Donuts in Madison. At number 6, you might want to have this if you've had a flop in your life to cheer you up, because it's Pop Donuts. I see what you did there, Braden. Very creative. At number 5, you might want to go to church more because of the Heavenly Donut Company in Birmingham. I hear the angels singing. Oh, at number 4, you might want to make sure that you're healthy and not coughing at Catherine's Bakery in Boaz and Gadsden. At number 3, you might become a Duke or Duchess because of Duchess Bakery in Coleman. And let's see here. Number 2, you might, that was it. Oh, no, number 2, you might be able to become a ruler of a great land at Donut King in Eufaula. At number 1, if you want some more light in your world, you might want to head on down to Donuts Delight. Good job, Braden. I see what you did there. You try to rhyme a little bit. You try to make it a little more humorous. I think you've done an amazing job. And I've really enjoyed having you here for the past 6 weeks, man. It's been a blast. Yeah. All right. So we'll hear more from Braden before the end of the show. He doesn't know that yet, though. So, shh. Okay. Back to the music. Here is Christian Paul with Yes, I Am right here on the Lifeline. April and Anthony, well, you know what? No, actually it wasn't April. Goodness, what am I thinking? Yeah, let me start that over. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right. Catherine's boyfriend, Anthony. Well, they kind of have fallen in love with each other. But you see, Anthony is a pilot. And he decided to pop the question. He was going to do it from the air. It was very interesting the way that he made that happen. It was a little nerve-wracking and sweet. Hear the whole twist coming up.
That's weird.
But why is it going down like that?
Babe. Can you get... That's weird, hold on. I'm not getting any response out of the controls here. Can you grab the checklist from the side? Sorry, babe. Just don't panic. The next one, over. Page 2, we might have to land in the field. I'm not even kidding you.
That's Anthony and Catherine, and it sounds like they're in a pretty serious situation, right? Well, you see, they've been seeing each other for a while, and it was time to pop the question. Now, Anthony thought, I could get down on one knee like everybody else, or I could make this thing special. And see, he's a pilot, so he decided to take her up in the plane on this particular day. And, what's coming next, she doesn't see coming from a mile away. Because, you know what, Anthony decided that this was in his favor. After all, there's nothing like the fear of imminent death to help you make a quick decision. So it was a gamble Anthony was willing to take. Here is the second part of how it all went down when she had to reach for the checklist.
Hon? Can you please tell me, can you keep reading through the steps, hon?
Will the pilot in command love the passenger forever? Check.
Keep going, babe.
Will you marry the pilot in command?
Will you marry the pilot in command? How cool is that? Yep, it was all a setup. He faked that thing going into a stall to make this big moment happen. And it wasn't lost on her that he's romantic, that he is so sweet. But at the same time, here, I'll just let her tell you. This is what she had to say.
Such an idiot.
Is that a yes?
I love you so much. Don't ever do that to me again!
I love it. I had to share that with you. Could you imagine going up in a plane like that and thinking you were going to fall to your death, only to find out, nope, you are preparing for the rest of your life in that moment? Yeah, that's one happy couple right there. I don't think he'll ever live that down, though. They'll definitely have a story to tell their kids, right? This life is busy, isn't it? Yeah, but you know what? A lot of the time we wear our busy lives as a badge of honor. We may think it displays popularity or accomplishment. Oftentimes, it just makes it seem as if we're needed, right? So while we're flashing that badge of busyness to represent something we consider good, it nearly always does the opposite and compels people to turn the other way. If we're honest, friendship and people just aren't always a priority for us, right? We worry more about the state of our homes than the state of our relationships. If we want to have real lasting relationships, though, we have to stop justifying our lack of community with our full schedules. It's all about making friends and lasting relationships. Be honest with me. Is it easy to make a friend as an adult? No, right? Because it was much easier when we were all at school. We were like forced to be with each other for like 7 hours a day. We made fast friends then, but now with everything going on in life, it's hard to find good friends and then to keep them. You ever heard that old saying that always making plans until one of you dies is kind of how it goes? Yeah. You're always saying, oh, we need to get together and do something. But those plans always fall through. Something comes up. Crazy, right? Well, stick around because I want to dig a little deeper into this topic and tell you a couple strategies on how you might be able to make friends as an adult just a little easier. Just a few things to think about. I was reading this article over at foreverymom.com, and I think this is so good. It's talking about how making friends as an adult is kind of hard. Yeah. You ever seen the meme on social media? It says adult friendship is two people saying, I haven't seen you in forever. We need to hang out more over and over again until one of you dies. Yeah. It's kind of sad, right? But in this article, you see the lady who wrote it, her name is Lindsay, and she was having this Bible study just for a few ladies over at her house. And one of the books that they were reading through, it's called We Saved You a Seat by Lisa Jo Baker. And she says, I love this quote from the book. As much as you might try to quit it, friendship is literally woven into your bones. With every breath you take, you're entirely dependent on the life breathed into you by a God whose entire existence is a living, breathing friendship of three: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, it says. He's designed friendship into your DNA. So trying to cut friendship out of your life is like trying to cut a piece of yourself out of yourself. It'll hurt. It'll leave open wounds. It's not healthy for your soul. So she goes on to say how so many times we are just so busy and we wear that badge of honor, and really it turns people away from us because we're not making room for friends in our lives. So how about when you're trying to make a friend? What does that look like? What kind of things can help you do that? Well, one thing is learning what that person's love language is. I know it's kind of a deep conversation, but in this setting, in a Bible study in this lady's house, she was able to really ask the ladies who came in, it's like, what is your love language? If you've never heard of that before, there are 5: gifts, quality time, words of encouragement, words of affirmation, and acts of service, and touch. So finding out what is important to them would really go a long way to help you show them love in the way that they receive it. So that's one surefire way of making sure that you have an easier way of making friends. Another is staying away from the I'm good response. So common to walk through the doors of a church or into somebody's house. They ask you, how are you? And the response is always, oh, I'm good. But what do those words do? They shut down any further conversation. It's almost set up. Because when someone responds with, I'm fine, then we feel obligated to say that we're fine as well. So, being open and honest with that person and giving an actual answer instead of, I'm good, I'm fine. Actually telling them what you're going through. Well, that gives them a point of contact where they may have a little bit of experience with what you've been going through. And right there is something that you both have in common, but you don't know it because you didn't have the conversation. So being a little more open and honest with those people in your life. And hey, there are a few more tips here, but I'm not going to get into all of them here on the radio, but I did make it available for you to go see over on our 88.5 JFM's Come Together Facebook group. So going over there, it's at the top of the page right now. You can check it out for yourself. A lot of great stuff there. And yeah, so happy to find this and share it with you. Again, I found it from foreverymom.com, an amazing website. A lot of great resources there. But you can find it, again, over on our 88.5 JFM's Come Together Facebook group. All right. I've got some business and ministry impact partners to get to, some weather, and some word of life as well. I think Braden, our intern, I think he's going to do the weather coming up next. I've been asking him if he wants to for a while now. And this morning, his last day, he's like, sure, I'll do it. All right. Well, we'll do that. Braden will bring you your weather coming up next.
Yeah, and it's pretty hot out there. In Gunnersville, it's 79. Coleman, it's hot 81. And Scottsville, it's 76. It's really getting hot out there.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Sizzle of that bacon in the background, too. I can smell it. How about you?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, your forecast is brought to you by...
First Choice Painting, LLC. Specializing in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting. The phone number is 256-477-3537. They're on Facebook, and the new office is located at 712 East Laurel Street in Scottsboro.
Very good job, Braden. Good job, man. All right. Hey, your word of life today comes to you from the 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14, in the New Living Translation of the Bible. Then if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and restore their land. Oh, that's a promise worth holding on to right there. Have you ever experienced that verse in your own life? I'm sure you have. Why don't you share that story with somebody today? It's your testimony. It's powerful. All right, we've got that word of life ready for you to start that conversation with on our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok pages, and at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. Now the new song from Tasha Layton. It's called Never. It's really good. Turn it up. Special occasions call for a gift, but let's be honest. Sometimes there are people in our lives that are really hard to get a gift for. It's like, what do they need? What do they really want that they don't already have? Some people, well, they get happy about certain stuff. Other people, it's like, hey, I really don't want to botch this. I want them to know that I love them, and I want to get them something important for them. Could be for birthday. It could be for another milestone. It could be maybe, I don't know, for Christmas, right? It's always hard that time of year. But I came across the perfect gift. It's pretty cool. See, Quentin, well, he's been raised by Richard, his stepdad. And it's been that way for a while, but there was something Quentin wanted to do. So he decided to give Richard a gift, but it was the handwritten note that accompanied the gift that had the biggest impact. Here's a little bit of how all that went down.
You are the greatest father figure I've ever had in my life. Buddy.
So, with the gift along with just a little note saying how much Richard means to Quentin, right? But there was more to the note. You see, for the longest time, Richard being Quentin's dad, technically stepdad, well, Quentin wanted to make it official that, hey, you're my real dad now. So how do you do that? This is pretty cool. He decided to go ahead and have his last name changed to Richards.
What? I'm officially a mayor as of 8:30 this morning.
Oh man, buddy, you always have been. Thank you so much.
That's something we all long for, is belonging, isn't it? Yeah. I know that there are a lot of kids who are being raised in what people call broken families. It's where maybe they have a stepdad or a stepmom in their life. But I know that there are plenty of people out there, these stepmoms and stepdads, who try their best to make sure these kids feel loved, like they're one of their own. They go out of their way to make sure that these kids are taken care of. And it doesn't go unnoticed. So I just wanted to kind of speak to you, stepmom, stepdad. You're doing an amazing job with those kids. I know it's weird, right? Because you got to navigate the biological side too. Got to make time for that person in their life. But always being the one to really give them what they need. Let them know you love them. You're there for them no matter what. That's a big deal. You don't have to do it, but you choose to. And that says a lot about your character and your heart. So, hey, maybe you're in a tough spot right now. Maybe your stepchild really hasn't warmed up to you yet. Just give it time. Keep showing them who you are. Keep showing them how much you love them. And you'll be able to crack through. Who knows? You might be having the same experience one day, like Richard and Quentin just had. Just had to share it with you here on the radio. Thanks for hanging out with me, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show on your 88.5 JFM, making your day better. 88.5 JFM, the Lifeline Morning Show. Hey, you know what? Today is a pretty big day. It's kind of a sad day, too, because we've had Braden Williams with us here in the studio now for 6 weeks. Today is his last day. He's from Shorter University. He's been our intern, and really enjoyed having you around here, man.
I enjoyed being here, and that's all I just wanted to say to everybody listening. Thank you for listening, because, you know, without this radio station here, I couldn't have had the great experience I did as an intern at a radio station, probably. And also I thank Steven for the opportunity to do it. And I'm just grateful for the experience.
Man.
So I'll see you.
Yes, sir. You've done a great job. He's been learning the ins and outs of Christian radio, everything from going up to the tower to programming music to working with partners and developing scripts and voicing some stuff. We've really had a lot of fun, haven't we?
Yeah.
The past 6 weeks. I'm going to miss him. Man. All right. Well, you've got, one more year left at Shorter. You'll be graduating in the spring of 24. And then the sky isn't even the limit. I don't know where you're going to land, man, but it's going to be a good spot.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good spot.
Hope so.
You're a good guy. Thanks again for choosing us to come do your internship, man. It's been a blast. All right. Well, hey, back to the music. Just wanted to share a little love with Braden before we have to tell him bye for the last time. It's craziness. Well, that is going to wrap it up for us here on the Lifeline Morning Show. It's been an absolute blast hanging out with you. Remember, you can always go back and listen to a part that maybe you want to hear again or something that you missed. It all goes together as a podcast after the show at 10:15 on Spotify now. Thanks to Braden for helping me figure that one out. Man, you've really been integral in figuring out some of the social media stuff. It's been a blast having you here.
Yeah, it's been a blast being here.
All right, man. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. Hope you have a wonderful day. Let's play a little bit of this song for you to close it out. It's Leanna Crawford with How Can You Not? See you back here on Monday.